All aircraft that should be released from Microsoft Flight Sim in 2023, from airliners to business jets, general aviation to military aircraft. Today I'll be listing out and going into detail regarding all the aircraft that are set to be released on Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC this year. Without further delay, allow me to get right into it. Hello everyone, it is Brandon here from the Pilot Stud channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. With these sorts of videos, let me just be clear before I get into it, it's not going to be 100% accurate. Hopefully it'll be pretty accurate. If there's any aircraft I've missed out, do let me know down below. Alternatively, if you have different ideas on the aircraft, make sure to tell me in the comments. Now we've got that all out of the way, let's head right into the list. Okay, we're going to kick it off with Just Flight and their Fokker F-28 Fellowship for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is payware, it's a vintage Dutch airliner, and progress on this aircraft has been incredibly steady over the last few weeks. We should be looking at an early 2023 release, so anytime over the next few months according to Just Flight. That might be 1 month, that might be 2 months. If you'd like something similar but slightly more modern, Just Flight are also working on the Fokker F-70 and F-100, but I don't believe those will be released this year. Let's move over to the next aircraft, and we're sticking to vintage roots. This time we're moving over to Innie builds. They confirmed late last year that the A300-600F would be released on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Of course, the A300 was the first Airbus aircraft, and the 600F is the freighter variant. It has a very similar cockpit to the current Innie builds A310, and this is almost guaranteed for a 2023 release. It will be payware, and you can probably expect a PC and Xbox release with this one. Innie builds always set the bar high, so I personally am really looking forward to this one. We now move over to the Asobo ATR 42600 and 72600. This was announced last year, and despite some delays, it is set for release in April 2023. It will be released as part of Asobo's new Microsoft Flight Simulator Expert line and will be available on both PC and Xbox. It will be payware, but it is set to be affordable. Hans Hartmann and his team are actually working with the real-life aircraft manufacturer ATR, so expect the quality to be high with this one. I think that's a good enough reason to get excited for it. We've been treated to screenshots and videos over the last few months on the Microsoft Flight Simulator development stream. Expect this aircraft to come into your simulator on the marketplace in late April. I cannot wait for it. Moving over to TFDI Design, the first wide-body passenger jet of this video. Their MD-11 has been in the works for some time, and I believe it will be released this year. A major reason for my belief in this is because TFDI Designs have already been talking about pricing, and in fact, some people have already put their money towards this aircraft. So it's definitely a priority of TFDI Designs to get this out in some form. It is slightly on the expensive side. The base package is $70 US. If you want to buy an expansion pack, it's $10 US each, either the cargo or passenger, and then you pay $5 extra for the extended simulation package, which adds things like working circuit breakers, for example. It is set to be uber realistic, and as far as I know will only be released on PC so far. Moving over to Simworks Studios in collaboration with pilots, they've been working on the de Havilland Canada 7-7 for quite some time now. A 4-engine propeller aircraft used somewhat in the real world still. Despite some delays late last year, this aircraft has really accelerated in terms of progress in recent months and is definitely set for a 2023 release. I believe a video was shared some time ago, but I'm not previewing that on the screen right now because I don't have permission. I do understand that SimWorks Studios handed this aircraft over to pilots a few months ago to give it the finishing touches, so we should definitely expect a 2023 release for this one. A slightly different aircraft, more suited to rugged flying, so it would definitely take some people's fancy. As far as it's been confirmed so far, this is a PC release, but personally with WASM support, I expect eventually we'll see this on Xbox. Now moving over to an aircraft I am personally really excited for, Bluebird Simulations, who are working on the Boeing 757-200 and 300. This aircraft is set for a late 2023 release, and they're working in collaboration with the renowned development team Just Flight. It's a project I've been keeping a close eye on, and I have to say it looks really promising. Every single aspect of this aircraft excites me. It might be something to do with the fact that this is my favourite aircraft. Recently, the cockpit is being remodelled. We have been told it is looking outstanding, but no screenshots of that just yet, so do be aware the screenshots I'm showing you on the screen are slightly out of date. Who can complain? It's a 757 for Microsoft Flight Sim, a lot to get excited for. We've got 2 airliners left, so let's get right through them. The Avro RJ Professional, which is basically a more modern update of the BAE 146. And Just Flight are working on this one. It's got a more sophisticated autopilot, FADEC engine control, and a lot more glass and digital screens in that cockpit. This is definitely a 2023 release. We've seen videos from late 2022 and it looked very close to completion there, but of course Just Flight are very busy and are just polishing it up. No information on pricing. Just Flight's intention is to release most of their products for both PC and Xbox, but at the moment this is a PC only release. Personally, I'm excited for it. It is really the last true British airliner. And finally, we're talking about the fly-by-wire A380X. This is the one I'm the least sure about if it will be released in 2023. This very easily could push on into 2024, and I'm afraid it is one of the only bits of freeware in this video. Fly-by-wire, of course, probably one of the best things to happen to flight simulation out there, and the A380 is looking fantastic. From the photos and the videos we've seen, it's clear it's a true labour of love here. Of course, they haven't given us any information on when this will be released, so the 2023 idea sort of stems from the level of detail we're already seeing. Fairly good systems in there, but the proof will be in the pudding as soon as Fly-by-wire tell us if it's going to be released in 2023. We will know. Let me know what you think. Do you think we'll see the Airbus A380 by Fly-by-wire this year? I'm sort of 50-50, but I personally am leaning slightly more to an early 2024 release. On that note, we're done with all the airliners. Let's move over to some general aviation aircraft. The A2A Comanche 250. This is an aircraft I know many of you are excited for. A2A Simulations always really do impress with their aircraft. Anyway, the Comanche 250 left beta early this year, so we should see this aircraft literally within the next few weeks, I imagine. It is set to be uber realistic, and I quote some guy on VR who was testing it in beta. He said, "Seriously guys, you have teleported me into virtual reality directly into the Comanche. The sounds are meant to be incredible, the vibrations as well. It's been in the works for a long time, but it finally seems to be getting very close to our virtual hangars." Moving back over to SimWorks Studios, with an interesting aircraft, and I'll admit there has been some radio silence here, so a 2023 release. Well, it was meant to be released in Q1, we're very rapidly approaching the end of Q1, and we haven't heard too much about it. We're talking about the GA8 Airvan. Now, SimWorks Studios have got a lot on their plate at the moment, so it may have just slipped later down the year. and I have only got a few early renders in the sim. Moving over to the Mole M7, this is by a development team called Pilot Experience Sim. This is also set for a release very soon, as beta ended recently. The cockpit looks really good, and get this, I know this excites a minority of people, but there are also functional circuit breakers in this aircraft. Sticking with the general aviation theme, we move back over to Just Flight with their PA-38 Tomahawk. This has also been in the works for quite some time now, and we have had some slight radio silence here. The last development update on Just Flight's website was on the 27th of May 2022. Now, at that time, I would have said it would have released in a few months, but clearly not. Of course, Just Flight have some history with releasing Piper aircraft for Microsoft Flight Sim, from the Arrow 3 to the Warrior 2, so I imagine it will be a very similar quality level to that. It will be payware, but the lack of information here is slightly concerning. And finally, moving up to a slightly bigger aircraft, we're talking about the SimWorks Studio PC-12. This is an aircraft I am personally really looking forward to, and that is exacerbated by the fact that SimWorks Studios have a direct licensing agreement with Pilatus. This is one of my favourite aircraft in real life, and as soon as you chuck in the real world manufacturer, you can always expect good things. The external model is almost complete, and according to SimWorks Studios, the aircraft is flying very true to real life, with a 1 knot margin of error in the simulator. It's one I'm looking forward to, and it will be payware, hopefully aiming for a PC and Xbox release if SimWorks Studios follow on with what they did with their Kodiak. And that's the end of the civilian aircraft. There's a few more Asobo related ones that I will be talking about towards the end of this video, but now we move over to military aircraft, kicking it off with India Fox Techo. Their Tornado, a wonderful aircraft, of course, a multi-role fighter, which was utilised by the RAF up until a few years ago, and still sees active use in Europe by the Luftwaffe. This aircraft, in my opinion, is very close to release. Externally, it looks brilliant, and according to the developers via Facebook, work on the systems inside is coming along nicely. It will be payware, and following on with what India Fox Techo have done in the past, I imagine we'll see this on both PC and Xbox. We move over to DC Designs. They very kindly released a roadmap at the start of the year, so it makes my job quite a bit easier. Q1 2023, we should see the F4 Phantom in the simulator. Q2, we should see the A10C Thunderbolt 2. We can definitely expect to see these two soon, going off what we've been seeing on the Facebook. I have to say the Q3 ones, slightly more ambiguous. We're meant to be seeing the C5M Galaxy, which is an absolute behemoth of an aircraft, as you can see on the screen, and another favourite of mine, the C17 Globemaster. This one will be via SC Designs. I imagine we'll definitely see the first two. As I said there, the second two are much more ambiguous. They may very well be pushed on into next year. Developers often set timelines and do not stick to them, so some companies don't like to give one. One company we're talking about there is Blackbird Simulations. As you can see on the screen, they are basically saying, no, we're not giving release dates anymore because it's almost impossible to stick to them. One thing's for sure, I personally expect to see their SR-71 Blackbird in the simulator soon. A very unique aircraft. If you like flying the Dark Star, well, I'm sure this will be somewhat similar, but I'd hope a different ballgame, as the Dark Star is very simplistic, and this one seems to be somehow realistic, which I have to say I'm impressed by. I would have thought this aircraft, shrouded in confidentiality, would be hard to model, but apparently Blackbird Simulations have got pilots and RIOs from the SR-71 in on the team, which I applaud. Also from Blackbird Simulations, which used to be called Milviz, we're meant to be seeing the MH-60, which is a helicopter, and in fairness, the only helicopter in this video, which should also be coming in 2023. Both of these aircraft were previewed on their State of the Sim video on stream a few weeks ago, and both of them look very nice, but the proof will be in the pudding upon release. Blackbird Simulations have released a few aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and hopefully they'll follow on with the high level of quality they established there. We are now approaching the final few aircraft in release. Finally, it's a World War II warbird. It's the Avro Lancaster by Aeroplane Heaven. Screenshots and previews of this aircraft were shared extensively towards the end of last year, and at that point it very much looked finished. No information on pricing just yet, but I have to say this does look beautiful, as you can see from the screenshots. One of the most important aircraft for the Royal Air Force in the Second World War. I know it will feel right at home in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Definitely some good ones to get excited for there. I know details are a bit sparse on some of them. I've tried to give you as much information as possible while not waffling on. Finally, we're talking about Asobo aircraft. Of course, they release their frequent flyers and local legends aircraft periodically throughout the year. While limited aircraft have been confirmed, we should be getting the Antonov AN2 for the simulator on the 21st of this month. Past that point, it is completely foggy. I've got no idea what the Asobo team are cooking up behind the curtain, but we can always imagine it's a good thing. There we have it, guys. All of these aircraft we'll hopefully see in 2023, but I can guarantee we'll get some surprises in the year, and I can also guarantee some of these will be pushed back. These sorts of videos take forever to research and create, so your support is very much appreciated. If you did enjoy, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to head over to Houston in June this year towards FS Expo, use my code PILOTSTUD to get 10% off general admission. On that note, have a fantastic day. Bye bye.